Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning back into Small Town Johnstown. I'm your host, Nick, here with Chad, co-owner of the Johnstown Millrats and founder of...
Tubin, Johnstown Paper Company, with just a couple separate companies in Johnstown.
Okay, so what is what's
So-
the paper company part?
Okay, so we when we looked at Johnstown and how to invest in it, like I said, we were down in Texas, so we had river tubing made sense. So Mike Cook is working hard to clean up the rivers, and Len Litchfar and all these folks are doing such a great job. We came back and jumped on the water and realized, hey, this is beautiful up here, and the rivers are cleaned up. So we did that, and then we started getting a lot of folks coming from out of town, and we started thinking about what they're seeing when they're coming into the city. And because we were one industry town, we didn't really have those natural market forces that would come behind redevelopment naturally to tear down a house and build something new. It was just so quick that the market couldn't catch up on its own. So we have a ton of blight, and things that need torn down, and it's an underfunded resource, so you can't put it all in the city. You can't put it all in the Johnstown Redevelopment Authority. There has to be some market-driven entity to address this problem. So and it's not having a bake sale. It's not asking for donations. Sometimes it takes time to build a business. So we did the math and said, what's everyone buying here? They're buying toilet paper, paper towels. Can we capture enough margin in there to take the profit from it and tear down blight? And turns out we can. So there's about $3.5 million worth of profit that leaves Johnstown, that goes to Kimberly-Clark, to Walmart, to all these places, and we want to direct it here and then scale that in all the other Rust Belt and Appalachian communities. And but right now, the first year we tore down a house, we borrowed $25,000 to buy a whole bunch of toilet paper and paper towels, and then that was like a 5-year loan, so we paid that off. So now we're net cash flowing, free cash flowing about $500 a month, which is about one house a year. So now we have toilet paper and paper towels, tearing down a house a year, and we're looking to get one this spring coming up, which is awesome. So
that's good. Are you going to rebuild with the stuff
we have multiple options. So if we, a lot of times they go to tax sale or people can buy them online for $200. So we'll go in, we'll tear it down with paper money, and we'll go knock on the neighbor's door and say, hey, you want to buy this for $200, or we'll plant some trees on it and give it. There's a land bank now, or if we like it, we'll hang on to it, and we'll be strategic about it. There's certain parts of the city they can't tear down houses because this is historic, or this is over here. So that's what we do. Well, that's what Johnstown Paper Company is. So and then Tubin's the river tubing business, and then the Millrats.
So you said, now before we were talking, that from Texas, that's how you fell in love with coal tubing, was in Texas.
I felt river tubing. I've river tubed before, growing up, just taking boats or canoes on the waterways. But when I went to Texas, I realized how popular it was. I mean, it was 110 degrees. You're either on the water or in air conditioning. And,
you got to do something.
And we always wanted to come back. When my military service was done, or when I got back in the area, we wanted to do something different here in Johnstown. And that when we started doing that in the weekends to blow off steam, I was thinking, man, this could be a perfect business to try out here, and it turns out it people like it.
Yeah, because you have so many streams, so many
beautiful
sites
whitewater
going down.
kayaking.
Yeah,
there's not many places in the world that have as much as we do within 20 minutes of Johnstown.
Yeah, I know her aunt and uncle like to do a lot of boats, water stuff, tubing, everything, and they always tell me about all the fishing. And they always tell me about these trails. And when we moved here, we could tell just the and whatever riches of outdoor activity.
Well, I like to brand Johnstown, like, going forward. We try to, the floods, the steel mills, that's all well and
old
good.
Past.
Right. There needs to be a new image of what we're trying to build, the world we're trying to create for ourselves. We go out and build it. But I like to say we're living in Austin before it was Austin. We're living in Bend, Oregon before it was Bend, Boulder. So instead of trying to attract 2 million people to come live here, I think we should try to attract 2 million people to come visit here. Yeah. Spend their money, pour into the local economy, and then they can go back to their lives. Yeah.
And then they can tell other people about it, spread the word, really just change the perspective of what Johnstown is. Right. And that's also what we're trying to do, because I just don't understand the negativity about Johnstown, other than, like, obviously there's some stuff that I see where there needs to be more, and you're working towards that, more activities to do that isn't just bars and whatever. And
I think that comes down to, from the way I look at it, I think it comes down to an ego of the collective ego of the community. It's easier to make fun of where you're from, so no one else can make fun of it first. You know, it's like a defense mechanism. You know, if I make fun and say this place is bad, then you know you're taking away that argument from them. But I think it's just been, you know, people lost their uncles, their dads. People have lost their jobs. They had to move. You know, so there's a lot of disdain for certain aspects of what happened to families in Johnstown. That's why there's a Steeler bar in every city in the country. You know, it's because everyone had to pour out of here and leave, and they're sometimes that created a little bit of resentment. And the folks that did stick around watched the suffering and the struggle for 30, 40 years, and so they think that they want to go somewhere that like in Austin where it's built up, instead of thinking, man, I have a city on pause that has roads, infrastructure, gas, sewer line, everything is done, and I can go and knock on someone's door and say, hey, do you want to sell me your property? And they might, you know, because they're probably looking to get down to Florida or something, you know. So
they see the greener pastures.
Yeah, there's opportunity everywhere, you know, and I can't be in more places than once. So I'm just running around town just, man, I need more time. I need, you know. So you try to inspire the younger folks to realize, like, look, if you don't like something that's not here,
you got to change it
yourself.
Build it. Yeah, build it, change
and talk to us. We'll help you do it, you know. And that's what we want to empower. There's a lot of use of, like, you know what they should do. Yeah. You know what they should do. You know, something will pop up. You know what they should do. It's like, who's they? You're they. We're they. Let's go do it. But to your point, it is hard to get folks to come here. There isn't a lot of population. There isn't, you know, the per capita income is like 27,000. So it's not like everyone's running around here and there's just money pouring in. Yeah, we're on a fixed income. You know, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, poverty, and older folks. That's the industry around here. Yeah, you know, and is it growing? You know, I don't know. Is it the kind of industry you want dominating your local economy? I don't think. You know, it's fine to be there, but it can't be the industry.
It can't be the main thing.
Right. Yeah. Like, you want steel, not that we want steel back, but like you want steel selling to the world. Yeah. Like, we're a net importer of goods and services. We're not a net exporter. Okay. So you'll see prosperity whenever we're making stuff here, selling to the thousands of markets around the world, which we used to do. Yeah. Now we don't. Now we're big boxed up, you know, all the hardware stores except Bentley's, you know, maybe one other one survived, you know, Lowe's and Home Depot. So that money comes in through the fixed income streams, goes to the big box stores, not the mom and pops, not the local places, pays the overhead, pays the taxes, and then all that profit, all that wealth creation just disappears out of Johnstown and goes into some shareholder of the company who lives in
California, France.
You know, so there's no new wealth creation. So we try to root for people who are out there selling to the world and making money, and we try to get behind them and be like, good job, what can we do for you? Yeah. How, you know, and root for them. Like, you need, because those people, when they do that, they spend their money back here. Yeah,
you know? it flows the wealth in a circle. Exactly. And once people start spending their money more here, more people are willing to open up businesses. Right. More small businesses can really flourish. I mean, you're right. But being in Johnstown, that's one thing I definitely saw potential for and that we've met a lot of people that are trying to do small businesses, are trying to be entrepreneurs, are trying to keep that flow of cash within Johnstown to make it better. I mean, we're trying to bring it back to how it was when we recently watched the hockey movie. Snapshot. And you see like how flourishing Johnstown was in those movies and like the businesses and everything. So it was once here, like you said, it went away for a little bit and went through an economic crisis, and it's slowly coming back. But with the help of people like you, it's getting there. But it needs to happen a little bit quicker.
Well, you know, happening quicker is absolutely, you know, that's been the mindset around here. Is do we need to get Elon Musk to open up a plant and have 300 jobs, and then that'll immediately be pumping money into here. And that's been kind of the playbook. But over the last 5-10 years, they've started pivoting to, let's start, you know, trying to build the next Tesla here. You know, let's get behind so-and-so's idea to do this and help them grow. So they've kind of have a longer-term outlook rather than trying to immediately solve that. Yeah. Like, recreation's one of those immediate type things. It's not, and we have everything here, so you just turn it on. We have airports. The airport that can, you know, land 747s is connected to the world. The train goes New York to Chicago, beautiful train station.
I took it to Philadelphia a bunch of times.
Yeah, you turn the amenities on, and people start coming in, and they start pouring that money into there while you're building your next Tesla, you know, company. You know, that's the it doesn't have to solely be recreation. It's just a piece of a larger puzzle, and you keep, and all these things are married well together.
I like that vision. I like this potential that you see that Johnstown has.
Oh, it's I don't see a better opportunity to go big.
Yeah.
In my life than Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's what me and my family talk about. Like, especially when we moved here, we saw the potential that Johnstown has. It's just somebody that's got to be there to kind of tap it, and you got to really change the perception of it. So you said, do you think you have this perception of Johnstown and how you see it being able to flourish later? Do you think you leaving Johnstown helped you see that coming back differently?
Yeah, I realized how lucky I was. The schools, the family, the deep roots.
Yeah.
The floods, the shared trauma. Like, people, that builds community. You know, I've been to a lot of places where it is brand new, where it is built up fast, and there's no soul to it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's all over the place, all over the world. There's a lot of those places. And Johnstown's, it has a soul.
Yeah.
And you can feel it when you're here, and it can feel a little run down in certain parts, but there's a reason a lot of people that are here stay here. Most of them are choosing to stay here, you know, because of those points. But travel, absolutely, I encourage everyone to go travel, especially when you see what's out there and be like, you know, I always say people in other parts of the world do so much with so little, and we do so little with so much.
Yeah. You
know, and we're trying to do much with what we have. And Rockefeller, Carnegie, all these guys, industrialists, Henry Frick, you know, he bought the Conemaugh reservoir from the
hospital,
from the canal, from the Pennsylvania Canal.
Yeah, OG.
So there used to be locks and dams coming down Little Conemaugh from the Allegheny Portage Railroad, from the Pennsylvania Canal, and the Conemaugh Lake, the big one that broke. But all these guys, people used to come out here to recreate for forever, you know. So what we're trying to do is build a ski area, a inland wave park to surf.
A wave park?
Yeah, it's like there's technology out there. It's not like, you know, like a wave pool that throws a wave at people. Is much different. This one's rideable, has barrels and all kinds of stuff. So that, and then, you know, we're building a campground right now over in Ferndale, and then we have another idea for that campground to support the inland ski, surfing. And then the phase one, the next one that we're going for, has a bunch of fun stuff that I can't get into yet because we're still kind of fundraising for it. But once that's created, like Coal Tubin and what we're doing, the campground, now it's kind of the proof of concept that, hey, this stuff works. You can invest bigger money here. Yeah. Phase one is the big ask, the big play, and that one's going to be fantastic. And then you get into the surf lake and the ski area, and then all of a sudden you utilize the airport and the train. Yeah, you line it all up. The operating costs for any asset are cheaper than the industry average because of coal and steel, giving us all of this beautiful infrastructure. Yeah. And then we're gonna make a couple Netflix shows about the flood, like period pieces. Oh, okay. My brother's a thespian. He writes. He's in movies and stuff. So we have a building over in Ferndale. We're gonna build a studio in there for and shoot it. And then we have different areas we're gonna shoot. And we've got a little twist to it. You know, taking some liberties with the story of But yeah, that's how you then market to the world of a new Johnstown. And then whenever they want to come see some of these places, or like, oh, that's also where Slapshot was. So, Pap's going to want to come too, Let's go over here. We'll fly in, and they can stay. They can do all these things, and you have all this external market-based money rather than government-based money. You have efficient market-based money coming in here, pouring in here, and I think I think the best years are ahead of here. And
it's definitely coming up. So is it going to be all connected then, in a way, to be able to get to this kind of stuff?
From outside of the area or inside?
Inside.
Well, we have rail lines that connect all of these different parts of the city, so that you'll be able to hop on those. And we also have Camtran, which most towns don't have. Yeah. And they're not. I don't think the buses are that full. Most of the time, certain routes might be. Do you ride at all? Or?
No, I haven't really been on the Camtran too much.
Yeah, so imagine if you're able to utilize public infrastructure to get around to these amenities. I mean, that's awesome. So I think...
and people don't have to worry about it. So, I mean, Johnstown's not that big of an experience, but it's definitely... No. Especially, it could be a little bit harder for older people to kind of get around with the hills and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. You mean if they're walking? Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. That's why we have Camtran. That's like.
Are you working on the incline at all, or is that separate?
That was more Mike Cook. he had the vision for mountain biking trails, and the lifts going up with the incline plant's super cool.
Yeah, because the incline's great. I do want to use it one of these days.
Oh yeah, they'll get it back. You know, all the parts, and people are annoyed. Like that's the thing. Johnstown will knock itself, and then be extremely mad when Johnstown's not Johnstowning itself. Yeah. Like whenever the incline plane's not working, they're highly upset. You know, and it's all of a sudden it's like I thought you didn't care. You know, I thought you didn't care about this place. Well, I really do. You know,
talking bad about it now you care all of a sudden.
That's how much they care. You know, is that when something like that's out of it. You know, but no, that once they were able to engineer all the parts, from what I read, it's just
because you'll definitely be able to infuse the incline with all the other projects you have coming up.
Well, they talked about doing some zip lining down there, but the tough part is Pittsburgh's got 2 of those.
Yeah.
And they're having trouble with the rail lines that run underneath it.
Oh, okay.
So they can't take a zip line over top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll get approved for that, but you need to shoot the zip lines off into the city and land on top of a building. I mean, that's naturally what I would do.
It's the best way to go.
Yeah. Instead of zigzagging down the hillside, you want to send it, and make it a place that people want to come to from around the world.
Yeah, maybe
you don't want to keep up. You want to set the standard.
Yeah.
And then people are like, I want to get to there. Oh, it's either cost prohibitive or I can't replicate it. And Johnstown has a lot of infrastructure to it where people can't replicate it.
Yeah, and it'd be such a unique experience.
Right.
I mean, what if you just had a whole the incline go to Central Park, maybe even Conemaugh? You think?
You could take a zip line down, land right on the building, go down.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense to what we're talking about doing makes sense to a lot of people outside of Johnstown.
Yeah.
So
trying to sell people inside.
Yeah,
are a little more. Their minds are a little more.
Yeah, they'll get it. I mean, after a while, but usually you don't want to miss the ability to invest in certain parts of it because Johnny whoever from Orlando understands what tourism is, and then he comes up and I mean that's.
So a lot of stuff that you said is, I feel like kind of more outdoor activities, but we do have other than the skiing, we do have a winter. Do you have any stuff for indoor activities during the colder seasons?
Right. No, you're totally spot on with that. I lived in North Dakota and in Minnesota, and it would get to be about minus 20
My
to 40.
sister lives in North Dakota right now because her husband's in the Air Force.
Yeah, where's he stationed?
Whatever one's in
Grand Forks? There's Grand Forks, then there's Minot. I was at Grand Forks.
I think he might be Minot.
Why not
They're
Minot?
like 4. Yeah, why not Minot?
Why not Minot?
They're like 4 hours from the
Anything?
famous. Yeah, anything, pretty much anything. Yeah. But that might be both bases.
That probably it could be. No.
But
is it on the west side, the far side of the state, or the east side?
I think I have to ask them. I haven't. They just recently moved about a year ago.
You'd say there's B-52s there. There's big bombers.
Yeah, probably.
That's it. Yeah, so Minot.
And
but anyhow,
they're like, oh, it's snowing in it's September. I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. There's mosquito. It's one of the most beautiful parts of the country. There's about 5 months up there that is just, it's fantastic.
Yes.
And then there's mosquito season. They'll pick you up, carry you away, and then there's the cold. But beautiful place. Flat, but beautiful.
Yeah.
But the cold. I mean, we have 7 months here where you can't go outside and really do much.
Yeah.
It's Pennsylvania permacloud. You're getting that rain. You're getting all that.
Especially in Johnstown, I feel like the weather here is very unique because it's either very humid in the summer, which I never been this humid in a PA state.
Yeah.
Part of PA, or it's rainy and then snowy.
Yeah.
And little in between.
Yeah.
So
it can be all of those in one day.
Yeah.
Which is even more incredible.
I call it the Florida of Pennsylvania. Just doesn't know what it wants it to be.
Yeah. It can, and that's relatively new. I think I'm 42. Growing up,
27.
What's that?
I thought you were 27.
No, yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. No, but that when I grew up, that was the seasons were pretty defined.
Mm-hmm.
You get 2 or 3 2+ feet snowfalls.
Yeah.
And then it was just white all winter. But then the last 10 years or so, it's been brown and wet.
Yeah, wet.
And wet and cold. Give me an inch of snow every few days to keep it white. And beautiful. And that's
I'd rather have the nice snow than brown, cold, and wet.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And that's been the plus the dogs bring in mud from outside all winter long, and that drives you nuts.
Our dog got a little muddy yesterday when we were playing with him because of the rain. It's
yeah. No, I agree. And it's more snow the better. Yeah. That's the way I live up here for a reason. I love to ski.
Yeah.
I love
When I lived outside the state, I would see my friends just post these pictures of snow, and I really missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some people who complain about it. Not many that I know, but
some people.
It makes everything quiet. It absorbs all the sounds. So like,
yeah.
I love when we get dumped on with snow and everyone's locked in their house for like a week and the world just
so beautiful.
Down. Yeah,
slows
it's just
down.
good.
Yeah.
Feels right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But back on track. So, do you have any plans to do any like
indoor stuff?
Indoor stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff?
We have ideas that we're kind of looking at all the stakeholders who could participate in it because it kind of, when you go into an indoor facility, you're checking a lot of boxes for a lot of like East Hills Recreation, West Hills Recreation. Like you start, they're like, hey, let's build a new indoor gym. It's like, hold on, let's get the water park involved here. You know what I mean? Like, let's start thinking outside the box on these things.
An indoor water park would be nice.
It would be. Lower Highlands region is top 10 growing or fastest growing tourism destinations in the world, and there's no indoor water park. So I feel like Johnstown should do it right by the airport.
Okay.
So people can fly in from all over the world. So we wanted to tie in baseball with that, with tournaments. So not just, having one indoor facility. We want to have multiple indoor facilities, and we can fly teams in from around the country. Then you have a baseball economy. And that's stuff that I wasn't aware was possible without like a Michael McHenry and his wife Jacqueline, who were able to tell us like, hey, you don't understand. There's a lot of things. There are a lot of ways outside of just the Millrats that baseball can improve, and not just baseball, volleyball, and softball,
anything.
Yeah, so that was part of it, and we start going down that rabbit hole. You're like, well, why would I pick up my team and fly to Denver or Colorado Springs? That's right, because my other 4 kids love to go to the water park while so-and-so has a game.
It's a mini vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that, like, keeps the money in the circle.
Exactly. We don't have the beach. We don't have the ocean. We're not the Jersey Shore.
No.
So what do we have? What can we do?
We'll be blessed to not be the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, right. Like, it's good to visit for a week. I love going down there for a week. We've been going forever. But do I want to live down there? I don't know. I don't think I do.
Too much Jersey's not a good thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Johnstown's that place where you can go out into the chaos and then there's respite here.
And it's also kind of isolated from a decent stuff, so you kind of get to like escape from your life a little bit.
You feel like you're out.
Yeah.
You feel like you could be out in the middle of nowhere with all the amenities you need. Yeah. And then you can drive 2 hours and you're 3 hours. You're in Philly, hour and a half. You're in Pittsburgh, like DC. Everything's here, but you're tucked up in this little mountain oasis.
Yeah, it can be like it could be a stop point.
Yeah.
Like to go to Pittsburgh and like, hey, come here. Stop here. We understand you want to go to Pittsburgh, but we have so much stuff you can do before then.
Yeah. And we have the airport and we have the train. I think it's super cool. We're within a 5-hour drive of about 90+ million people. So
it's definitely it's in the perfect spot for you to. That's why I like living in the tri-state area. It's the perfect spot that you can go. Let's go to any place you really want to go to and not be excessive travel.
Right.
Yeah. Because like you said, if you are here for a baseball, volleyball tournament, etc., hey, let's go check out Pittsburgh for the night.
Right.
You can just go. It's a 2-hour drive.
That's exactly
and then come back.
Yeah.
We used to do that. When we were looking at apartments in Pittsburgh, we would go down there. And I still worked that day. Go down there around 9, 10. Yeah. Chill for a second. We still had time to come back, and it wasn't like crazy late.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh's a beautiful city in itself.
Oh, it is. Yeah, and that's what's great is I think there was a mindset for a while that we needed to mimic what Pittsburgh was doing, and maybe there's aspects to that from like an administration part, but we should be a compliment to them. You want Pittsburgh at one point to be saying we are an hour from Johnstown, PA.
Yeah.
Like come live in Pittsburgh, go to school here. Johnstown, PA is right there.
Yeah, if you want a little resort from the family, great stuff to do over there.
Right, and that's how you know that what we're doing works. But you build a Vail, Colorado, and they have to control housing, they have to control lodging, food, everything. Whereas here we don't. We can just turn the amenity on, operate it at industrial power and all this stuff that's already there levels, and then let the mom and pop restaurant down the street.
Yeah, feed them.
Let them do great. Yeah.
Even maybe have like a deal with them where they like, hey, if you're in here for this, you get like a 10% discount.
Absolutely. And people have a better experience when they eat at mom and pop places in Johnstown.
Oh, we try and stay at very local restaurants.
Yeah, it is kind of a food desert.
Yeah.
I think you can agree with that. I mean, it's Asian food, lots of that.
Yeah.
There's no Indian food. I try to support. There's 2 Indian places that opened up in the last 10 years. I try to eat there 2 or 3 times a week.
We do love our Indian food. Balance. There's an Indian chef, and he left.
Dallas and they did have they'll have a dish every now and then too. So they'll do a good curry dish. I think a couple places might have done stuff like that, but
Yeah, definitely think, especially if you did do all those things talking about, it also brings a little bit more diversity.
Yeah.
A little more culture and everything, which is always a positive.
But think about it. It's tough when you're in a fixed income economy of money pouring in. So if you and I open an Indian restaurant, we're just, there's a limited amount of demand for eating out.
Yeah.
You know? So we're not creating new demand. But if we're able to get people to pour in here to visit who like Indian food.
Yeah, from bigger cities and areas.
Yeah, so that's why I've never gotten into the food business because A, I can't do it as well as people who do it. B, I don't have the time to do it, and I'm not a good cook. You know, our customers have a better experience when they go meet locals who are, the person there is going to ask them, where are you from? Where are you from? Oh, I'm from so-and-so. And they're like, why are you in Johnstown? You know, and they're like, went cold tubing. Or we came to a Millrat game where my son's playing. And then that interaction's so much better than if you go to a, you know, no offense, love Chili's, but a Chili's, you know, or
hey, they're mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, no, I'm a Chili's guy. Don't get me wrong, but I wish we had more restaurant options, but it's tough whenever you don't have
a demand for it.
Demand. You're just taking from one other place. You know, if you got $10 to spend, you know.
Yeah, I feel like people here. Once we get to like you said, more people coming in, more people are willing to try out different types of foods, maybe that they're not used to. I feel like it definitely give more people more that safe, like you, that safe, all right, let's risk it. Let's see how it goes.
Sure. So whenever you're looking around an area, which is what makes Johnstown hard to invest in, so you're getting price signal.
Yeah.
So when you're going to buy something or invest in something, you're looking around saying, like, how much did this cost? You know, how much can I make from this, or am I going to lose all my money? You know, it's when you have fixed income coming from taxes, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, like that fixed drip coming in, it's hard to see. You know, you can math it on paper, but you can't see upside or even how bad downside. Like, what if really no one wants that?
It's
product,
so hard to tell. Like,
it's hard to tell, right? But when you get market based money coming in, then you really start to be able to see price signal, and you're like, dude, there are 1,000 people in line at Wendy's because there's nowhere else to eat. You know, and then you're able to say, and they're coming from wherever, you know, so they like Indian food. Let's get some Indian food. They like Japanese food, you know, then all of a sudden that you're able to see that price signal. But
if people are eating at Wendy's, then
I love Wendy's too.
No, don't get me wrong. Wendy's is great, but Wendy's is, for some reason, Wendy's is expensive. It's like,
they had to catch up.
I feel like a lot of these fast food places nowadays are more it's no different than going to a fancy restaurant. Like we were doing it when we were going out. We got Wendy's or we got Burger King, and then we went to the place. It's Asiago's.
Yeah,
I was like, it's only like what, $30 different for a way better experience. I'd rather just go here.
It's because the wages are out of whack with money, and that's a whole deeper conversation of like inflation and all that, and printing money. That's completely different.
Above my pay grade.
No, everyone should be talking about that stuff, you know. And I'd love to talk about that all the time, but you know, it's some people don't like to talk about it because it challenges their existing norms. But everyone feels that like something's off. Yeah, you know, they're just like, something's off.
Something
is,
off.
And there's a reason that something's off, but I don't want to ruin your podcast and get down into the weeds of my crazy financial theories.
Next episode.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.